Hey, Nirvana Mama here, and this is Hairbrush Poetry Jam. Today I'm going to read to you a poem I wrote called In Between. This tells a story, it's set when I was in fifth grade, and it tells a story about when I got mono really bad. And I'll tell you more about that later. We'll talk more about it also is about the same time that I got into fantasy reading, so I'm going to tell you more about that too. For now, here it is. I hope you enjoy it. In Between. Here I am, stuck in bed, these shadowed walls around my head. The doctor said I needed rest, and this is all some kind of test. Months ago, after long nights, I couldn't seem to wake up right away, and all my energy was slipping off for more sweet dreams. No one listened when I said I really was sleeping in bed. They thought I was reading all night, fantastic tales to my delight, where magic rolls and battle rings and characters are beasts or kings. But I knew better. Every day my energy just slipped away, and nothing I could do or say would make them see. I'd need a day to visit some medical room and find out what was happening soon, because I knew if no one did, soon I'd be doomed and I'd be dead. I had to get them all to see what they needed to do for me. So I played dead upon my bed, my open eyes within my head, and made myself loose like the waves so they could see I needed saved. It worked, of course. They rushed me forth. My parents surely felt remorse. The doctor said to stay in bed with these gray walls around my head. The only places I can go are in between the sheets, and so I flip between the sheets and read to find the life I know I need. I pray these pages bring to me a tale or two, a memory of love and death, of blood and pain, of finding hope where shadows reign. Okay, so when I was in fifth grade, I got mono, and it got so bad that I had to spend basically a month and a half in total bed rest. And we never figured out how I got it. I hadn't, I mean, usually they were teasing me because I was in fifth grade, and they were like, "Were you kissing anybody?" But like, I hadn't. And so they thought maybe I got it from a water fountain, and that maybe I had gotten it at like a summer camp or something, because there wasn't even anyone else in the school that had it. So anyway, it was still kind of a mystery. And so it went on for those basically 2 or 3 months where I was just getting more and more tired, and it's happening like gradually. And so it was kind of like, the poem says, I just kept saying, I am sleeping. And they're like, oh, you're just not, you're staying up too late reading and stuff. And so uh, finally, um, they took me to the doctor, and they did some tests and figured it out. And I stayed at home. I did schoolwork in bed, and I watched game shows a lot. I was like a little bit too young to appreciate soap operas, so I watched game shows a lot. And then I did a lot of my work, just my schoolwork in bed, and I kept up with it. So like that worked out okay, but it was a pretty weird year. And I also had a lot of time to read. So that is also the same year that I got into reading fantasy. And for that, it's time for combing through bits of books and blurbs and backstory bits. That's what combing through is. We're detangling my life. So it's a really common question to say, hey, what books got you into fantasy? So that's what I'm going to share with you today. Like I said, I was in fifth grade, and at the time I had been reading a lot of Encyclopedia Brown and The Babysitter's Club. And I knew that I really loved reading. And so we were at a bookstore, and I was asking my mom if I could get the next Babysitter's Club book. And she kind of looks at the book and flips through it a little, and she looks at me and she says, this isn't what you need. I know what you need. And she walks away. And she went and got this box set of the Chronicles of Narnia, which I still have, all 7 books. Isn't that beautiful? So this was bought for me when I was in fifth grade, and I still have it because it's very near and dear to my heart. So I started with, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And at first, it's just these kids in this old house out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, this is not better than the Babysitter's Club. So then I got to the first time that Lucy goes through the wardrobe, and, that's when everything really starts. And so it just totally blew me away. The idea of having this entirely other world that I could go into and walk around in and be part of. And it was just so magical for me. And it really took over my imagination. And I read all 7 books, and then I reread all 7 books, and I just reread the Chronicles of Narnia over and over for a couple of years. And then I started reading, when I got into middle school, I started reading Anne Rice. So that's where fantasy started for me. And it's been just a lifelong obsession, basically. I married a fantasy novelist, so my love for fantasy never ended. Okay, so there's only one thing left to do. I think like a scholar and spin like a baller, so hit the subscribe if you care what I holler, the bell and the like, and you'll show me some love. My jam is a poem. I don't ask for much because who needs a microphone? I have a hairbrush.